Today, we're going to be unboxing the Sennheiser EW100 ENG wireless microphone system. Before I jump into that, a little bit of backstory. Alyssa and I are videographers and YouTubers. We run several different platforms. We rely on our equipment for our livelihood. We've been having a problem. Our creativity has been a bit restricted because we've been using a lot of hot shoe type microphones. And when I turn my head away, the audio just isn't the same. So, we looked for a lavalier mic solution to help bring our creativity around. And not so long ago, probably 2 years ago, we paid about $20 for this piece of junk lavalier microphone system. I'm gonna spare you the long story. The short story is, it's junk. You have to push on it to get it to turn on. I don't even know what this big golden grandpa's microphone jack thing is. It worked for about 10 minutes and then we threw it in the round file. That brings us to the Sennheiser kit. Today, we're excited to unbox it. We wanted this kit because everybody in the industry agrees that it is the best bang for your dollar and quality audio. Before we jump into the unboxing though, I have to tell on myself. Have you ever botched an unboxing? Like you got a product and you did the entire unboxing, and then you realize that pretty much everything that you said in the unboxing was either inaccurate, untrue, or just stupid. Okay, I got that confession out of the way. I totally did that. But let me just say, have you ever bought a product and you thought you knew what you bought, and when it showed up, you're like, what did I even buy? Okay, that's totally what happened. So, we're redoing this unboxing, so some of this stuff's already been removed from the package, but I think you're gonna thank me later. So what's included in this kit is one transmitter, one receiver, and then also a plug-on transmitter, and then a couple of adapter cords and a microphone and batteries. If you're looking for just the body pack transmitter and receiver, there's another kit available that does not include the plug-on transmitter. So if you're looking for that, you can save quite a bit of money by just buying the transmitter and receiver body packs. So what's in the box? On top here is a manual. And I remember when I first unboxed this, I thought, holy crap, that's a lot of manual. Turns out it's just in a bunch of different languages, and each section is actually pretty short. It took me maybe 15 minutes to read. They include a few other little resources here. Let's see, let's go one by one. This is actually a frequency range guide that they include, and this is really important if you're going to purchase more than one of these units. And it goes over the frequency banks that are pre-programmed into your transmitter and receiver. We can talk a little bit more about that later. I won't go into heavy detail, but it's important if you're going to buy more than one unit that they be able to work and not interfere with each other. So they include this handy guide that kind of shows you what those frequencies are. And then also they talk a little bit about user selectable frequencies, so you do have that option on some of these models. This document seems to be related to Europe. I don't see that if you're in the US it has any relation to us. It seems to have something to do with the restrictions for frequency ranges in Europe. So if you're in Europe, probably read that very carefully. And they also include a Quickstart guide. This will get you up and running pretty quick, and it really is this simple. Basically unpack things, install the batteries, power things on, and you're good to go. These units are actually synced from the factory, so once they're turned on, they should sync to each other extremely quickly. I like that this is small, and it seems to be kind of glossy, so I kind of think they expect you to keep that with your microphones, you know, in case you don't use them very often. Right, and for the microphone system, let's start with the body packs and we'll kind of just go around here. When I originally unboxed this, I totally thought that I bought a 2 transmitter, 1 receiver system, and I totally didn't. This is just one system. So these look extremely similar, but they're not. This guy over here is a transmitter. He has the mute button on him and the mic input, and then this guy over here is a receiver with the AF out. Although, to a layperson, if you're looking at them, they're nearly identical. So, if you're looking for a 2 transmitter, 2 receiver system, be careful when you make your order that you know what you're buying, because if you see 2 of these, you might falsely assume, like I did, that we're buying 2 units. First, let's take a close look at the transmitter. The first thing I noticed when I took this out of the box was that this is metal. It's not cheap, chintzy plastic. And the belt clip is extremely sturdy. This thing is meant to really hold this on there. The other system that I showed you earlier, it's all plastic and junk. The case is all plastic. I mean, one good drop and you're probably going to damage it or break it. So that's just something I noticed right out of the gate, is the build quality. This is definitely meant to last. The antenna, obviously, I'm impressed. Even for an antenna, it's extremely flexible. So, I mean, you're not going to break it. It's meant to get a little bit of abuse and stuff. And the bottom is very rubberized. I would say it's stiff, but it's not too stiff. Up here is our mic input. And if you look really closely, you'll see that that's threaded. And that's just, gosh, that's just one of those little things that I think makes these kits that much more professional. The other kit I showed you, if you turn really quickly, you pull your microphone out, and now you got a problem. This is threaded, so you're not going to do that. Mute button on top, of course, and that just mutes your microphone. It doesn't disconnect. Actually, let me back up. I believe that's programmable. So that mute button can do two things. One, it can just mute your mic, but I think it can also turn off this transmitter. So you'll have to read the instructions to find out more details, but I think that switch is actually programmable. Moving to the front. So this is the battery compartment, and right here on the sides are two little squeezy buttons like this. Squeeze those, and the battery door opens. Just one more little thing that I love about this kit is that these doors are attached. So there's no losing it, misplacing it, stuff like that. So nice and quality, and look how quickly one finger push and it closes. Simple, quality. So a couple AA batteries. Sennheiser, I think, does offer a rechargeable battery pack. And on the sides here, you'll see these little metal plates. There's one there and then two here. Those are actually for charging with their battery pack. I don't believe you're supposed to use rechargeable batteries. Well, you can use them, but you can't charge them in the battery pack using their accessory charger. Inside the door, important, this on-off button is hidden, so you're not going to accidentally turn your transmitter off. I think this is actually an infrared receiver. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what that's for. It might have something to do with syncing. Can't remember. And then your set button. And the on-off and set buttons are used in navigating your menus. So that's what's behind the door. I did notice that Sennheiser has these little foam packets behind the battery doors, and I think that's just awesome. You know, how sad would it be if this got dropped and a battery just kind of moved a little bit? Suddenly your battery, your transmitter doesn't work and you can't figure out why. And moving up to the screen here, so there's actually like an up-down button. And you notice that these are actually recessed, so you're not going to accidentally bump into something if you back into something and you push these buttons. It's not going to happen. So there's a pretty firm push there too. You know, I just love that. Your LCD screen or small display here is going to show you your frequency and stuff like that. And a couple of LEDs show that your battery's on. And I think the on light actually does indicate battery capacity left too. So let's take a look at the receiver. The receiver is literally identical. I mean, it's almost scary how similar they are. The only major differences is here on the top, you're going to find your AF out. So you're going to attach this to your audio input on your camera, whatever you're using, and there's no mute button on this model. Your battery light indicators are a little different. You have your RF, which just indicates that you've got, I think that indicates that you've got a connection and that you've got a transmission going, so you can verify that. I mean, it's ridiculously similar. In fact, I would probably label these because I could see, in fact, I think I've read stories about people putting the receiver on their talent and then struggling to figure out why they can't hear them. On the back, there's actually some really useful information. So this actually shows that it's frequency range A. And if you remember earlier, I showed you that brochure that had all the frequencies in it. So this tells you that this is actually frequency range A receiver. So if you wanted more than one unit, you'd want to make sure that you're buying something most likely in a different range. And that's just the factory pre-programmed range. I think you can actually program outside of that. But how much easier is it if you just have to turn it on and go to work? You don't have to sit and program every single unit. And finally, the plug-on transmitter. So silly me, I literally thought that this was a receiver, and I don't even know where I got that idea from. But this is actually a transmitter that's designed to plug straight onto an XLR microphone or microphone cord, and it makes any wired microphone wireless. So the features here are real similar. You've got a set and on-off button, just like our other transmitter. You have your up-down arrows and a mute button. The screen is actually here on the side, and I'm impressed. This is also metal, really solid constructions, big, nice quality screws. It feels solid. This is something I wouldn't be afraid to drop. Battery door located on the bottom, and notice again, this battery door is attached. It's got a good hinge system on it. It's just not something you're going to lose. It would be very tacky. Again, 2 AA batteries, or you can use the Sennheiser battery pack. And a nice firm close. It is threaded to go ahead and make a really secure connection with your microphone. That way, if people are walking around a lot, it's no risk of it falling off. We're not super sure that we're going to use this or how we're going to use it yet, but you will save, I think, around $200 if you ever needed a device like this, if you buy it as part of the bundle. I think we paid like maybe $160, $70 more for the bundle, but if you buy this little guy alone, I think it's in the $350 range. So they do include 6 batteries. We'll go ahead and plug those in just a second, but let's kind of take a look at some of the other accessories that they include. With this bundle, they include a lapel mic as part of the system, and this is a cardioid microphone. It's important. It's not an omnidirectional mic, so you're going to get a more precise sound direction. They do have a bundle that does include an omnidirectional mic, so be sure when you're ordering that you know what you're getting. And they have a few other little accessories. They've got a wind filter, and they've also got your lapel clip. They include an XLR cable, and this allows you to turn your body pack transmitter into a wireless mic system too. I don't fully understand, I'm going to be totally transparent here, I don't fully understand how we would even use this, but you know what, for the right person, this is probably going to be a really crucial accessory. They include a hot shoe mount for your receiver. Be careful, there's actually an extra square nut provided with it. And they give you a lot of different mounting locations, which is why this plate's kind of meshy, so that's good. You can move this around to whatever suits you, and this is actually tripod mountable too. So you're going to mount the receiver here, and I'm guessing that this actually needs to be moved to the other side. So you will need to use a screwdriver. There's a tiny little Phillips screw in there that releases that nut, and you'll need to do that to move this around. If you're thinking about buying this kit on Amazon, do be aware that they try to sell you this piece as a bundle. This is the hot shoe mount. I totally forgot, and I was like, oh, it sucks. I forgot to do that, and it's included in the kit, and I don't think that's mentioned on Amazon. I might have overlooked that. This little cable is actually for your receiver and plugs into your audio input on your camera or whatever you're using for audio. It's important that you have this cable because it's actually part of the antenna, from what I understand. I think they call it adaptive receiver, something like that. And so this isn't just a cable, it's actually an antenna too. So that's what's included, and the nice thing is it's got a right angle on it, so you're not going to have this cable sticking out. It's very discreet, plugs into your device. Let's go ahead and put the batteries in and get these powered on. I did that in the wrong order. I think this goes on first, and this is your lapel clip. It has a small little clamp and slides over the mic thusly, and then we'll put the noise or wind filter on there. Nice and firm, fits in there nice and solid. Alright. My transmitter is working, and now we're going to hook the receiver cable up. All right, that's pretty straightforward. So let's plug this into the camera and we'll see how good the audio is. All right, so we've switched the camera over to this lapel mic now, and we're transmitting into the camera. Alyssa is actually monitoring the audio on her headphones to make sure that we're getting good audio. We just wanted to do a quick test, so if you can compare what we were doing before. If you're thinking about buying this kit on Amazon, do be aware that they try to sell you this piece as a bundle. That was a Rode video mic with a cat's tail on it. What's it called?
We don't know if it was plugged in. There's a chance. We attempted shooting with a Rode mic, but there's a chance it wasn't plugged in.
That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. This microphone seems to do this a lot. It comes unplugged from our camera ever so slightly. Just one of those little equipment malfunctions that will drive you crazy. Anyway, so right now we're shooting on the Sennheiser Wireless system with the lapel mic, and hopefully our audio is solid. High quality video, man.
Getting there.
I can say that this system is definitely designed to be professional. If you're looking for a system that you could use in a business or to make money or as part of a nonprofit or public speaking, this is definitely it. I mean, the system is just solid overall. You plug it in, you turn it on, and it's transmitting immediately. So this is how it should be. Okay, so that kind of gave you an audio sample. We're actually switching back to our Rode video mic. So we're going to stop recording with audio on this one because I want to actually try to put the shoe mount on this receiver. So I'm going to go ahead and take this cable off and let's go ahead and put the shoe mount on. According to the manual, the first thing is you have to rotate this part of the clip up. This is the top, not the bottom. And it's got a little bit of like a finger. So I'm rotating up and then I'm pulling out. And it does feel like it's like gonna break, but remember, this is all metal, this is all metal. And then same thing on this side, kind of rotate it up and I'm pulling out. I'll say this is definitely not something you want to do like every day. Okay, if you look really close, they kind of have this little finger on them that fits in that groove. So this isn't going to pop out on you. You have to rotate it to get it to slide out, kind of like a keyway. And then this actually slides in here, right over the top of that belt clip. And you can see that it you know, firmly fits right between those little supports. I guess, you know, it could actually go either way. So that's good to know. Gives you a lot of different mounting options. This actually needs to go in here so that it holds that down. So it looks to me like we're gonna have to take our hot shoe off. So there's actually a square nut on the bottom here. Don't lose that. Okay, so that needs to come off at least long enough to get this mounted back on here. And I'm pretty sure that this goes this direction. It would be really easy to stick it on the wrong way and then you've got yourself a problem. So if we're going to mount this direction, perfect. So we want this to sit on here. But the problem is I need to make sure that hot shoe is actually on there first. I am noticing that this shoe mount actually has little pegs that fit in these peg holes. So the bigger holes are for the screw and the smaller holes are to keep this from spinning on you. This needs to go on first. This can go on, so it covers up the bottom of that clip there. And then we'll rotate it down. And this part's a little clumsy, I'll just say that. Like, it's not something you're going to want to do a lot. That square nut's aligned there. And then we'll tighten this back down. And probably snug is good. Alright, so that's on there. And now our threaded nut works. Alright, and then we can go ahead and mount this back on our receiver. Alright, and it's on there. It definitely fits secure, I'll say that, but man, I don't know. That whole process seems a little, not quite as polished, but gets the job done, and I'm sure once we have a chance to use it, it works just fine. So that probably took maybe 5 minutes. It'd probably take me 1 minute to do it a second time. We did get some other things with our bundle though, and I think they're really important, so let's take a look at those. Part of the bundle that we purchased was a bulletproof case. Alyssa and I do a lot of traveling and we do a lot of outdoor video and outdoor photography, and we rely a lot on having sturdy cases for our tools. Even though a lot of our tools are durable, it's really helpful when we have something sturdy that we can literally just toss in the car. First, it's got a small little finger latch on it underneath here that is a nice positive latch. So you know you've got it secure. It's got a couple of those. This case is touted as waterproof. It's got a breather hole here near the handle. Don't know that I'm really interested in testing out that right away, but it's good to know that it's at least probably rain resistant, snow resistant, stuff like that. And this case is custom cut for the Sennheiser system. A place for your transmitter, receiver. You can hold up to 8 additional batteries, and that's in addition to the ones you probably already have in your transmitter receiver. This is for your plug-on transmitter. And then just an extra cubby for all your cables, accessories, microphones. When I unboxed this yesterday, I was super stoked to see that your transmitter and receiver they fit right in. It's amazing. But you know what? Now that I've got the hot shoe mount on the transmitter, on the receiver right here, guess what? Donk, 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 donk. Doesn't fit. That's not a negative on this case. I think if you are going to leave your hot shoe mount on a regular basis, you might want to do a little bit of customization to the rearward pocket for your receiver, just so you don't have to take it on and off all the time. And I don't think it cost us any extra to buy this as part of the bundle. So this case might have been maybe $50, $60, I'm kind of guessing. But when you buy it with a bundle, no extra charge. So that does it for this unboxing. I will say, my experience, read the manual very carefully. There are some very subtle nuances between a couple of different models and how they operate. Overall, it's simple, but take a moment, read that manual carefully, and you'll find a lot of really helpful information that'll help you get up and running a lot quicker with a lot less headaches. So keep that with you. And I want to say, I wish they would have put a place for a manual. Sometimes you just need the manual to figure something out, and there's just nowhere. So that kind of sucks. You'll have to put it in your go bag, something like that. We're super excited to give this a test. We'll probably be doing some comparisons and other things later. If you have any questions or comments about this kit, please leave them in the comments below. We'd love to make future videos, so if you have a question about how it works or a certain situation, we'd love to know what that is, and we'll see about doing a video about that later. Also, we'll leave a link to this kit in the description below. Give that a look. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.